Hi, my name's Carla Moss and today I'm going to show you how to make a notebook. Very simple notebook with a stitched bind. For the best results you really need a nice clean table and clean hands. So the kit that I use includes these different elements. Not many things, it's not super specialist, which is really nice. Stanley knife blades, Stanley knife, owl, pencil, bone folder creaser, a metal ruler, a cutting board, some linen thread and a needle. So that's the kit. So this is about 200 weight gram card, and when I'm folding card I tend to just bend it a little bit to soften it. You can score it if you want with the back of the blade. I don't tend to bother, I use my nail to match up the corners and then fold it, and this is then when you use the bone. And then we fold the paper sheets in the same way. So it's matching up the corners first of all, starting in the middle. Now I tend to use my thumbnail and then I pop them in the middle. Now I'll do 10 sheets. Now it's quite lightweight paper, so it would take more sheets, but I think 10 for me is often a good number for this particular stitch. So the stitch I'm going to show you is saddle stitch. It's a really straightforward stitch. You can use it for doing all sorts of binding different books, and I'll show you at the end of this film some books that I've made. I'll give you some more examples. So the pages are all in now, and I just do an extra crease on it, and then I like to mark where I'm going to put the holes using a piece of paper the same size as the length, and then I fold it in half and then I fold a little bit at the end. That means there's equal spacing at the end and in the middle, and then I'll mark it with a pencil. So what I'm going to do now is to make some holes in with my owl. I'm just going to line them up so that they're really straight, and do that again. And then I get the paper lined up, and that's my middle point. So I push it's got a very sharp point as this, so I just push it through, and hopefully you can see it coming through there. And I'll do this end. Push it through this end. You can see the owl coming through, and then turn it over. Just makes handling it at the bottom a lot easier. And there, that's matched up there, and push that through so you can see, move that out of the way, so you can see the 3 holes going through and at the back there. Now next I tend to position the owl still in the middle, it just keeps it in place. So the next thing is to measure out some thread, which you can do at the start as well. I'm doing 2 lengths. This is linen thread, and you use linen thread so that it doesn't slip, and it's much firmer, you can pull it much tighter, and therefore you can bend, you can bind books of many more pages. So you go down through the middle, leaving a bit to tie, up through one or other end, doesn't matter which, all the way down to the other end, so you've got a full length through the middle, and then back up through the middle. And then when you come up through the middle, the thing to do is to have one piece of thread and the other piece of thread, and now whip through. Either side, you can see that, you can either side of the thread. So then you pull it tight so that it's tight, you can see there either side. And then you tie it with a reef knot. I tend to tie the threads over 3 times. So once, and then twice, and then a 3rd time. And then cut it leaving about a centimetre. And then I also like to just use the bone to push down the holes, and then make it flatten. And then the last thing to do is to trim it. And first of all, I check to see which is the shortest side, because when you put the pages into the cover doesn't tend to, the front and the back don't tend to be the same length as usually. And actually this is really pretty good. So I choose the shortest part so that when I trim it, I don't not trim the shorter piece. So the next thing to do is to trim it. And the key with trimming the edges is to be really gentle and to have a very sharp blade. So that's why I always put a new blade in, and then you're just stroking the edge as if you're stroking a cat. There's no pressure, you're not pushing down on it. You have to put lots of pressure on the ruler. That needs to be held really firmly in place. As you can see, it's just little feathery bits at the bottom, so really gentle, and then you end up with a nice clean edge like that. So there's the notebook. And next I'm going to just show you a couple of examples of art books that I have made. I'm just going to sweep this out of the way. The art books that I've made using this thread and notebooks, workbooks. I do quite a lot of design and for sustainability, and I use permaculture, and this is a toolkit that I made with cards in. It's a concertina book. Each of these stitches is the saddle stitch that I've just shown you. Another wonderful thing about making your own notebooks is that you can put any sort of paper in. So this is another book that has got tracing paper and plain paper and maps in it. And then lastly, an artist book project called A Lunar Book of 3 Hours. And this again is a series of books, and open like this. I just put this down. So this is actually 30-ish notebooks, and they're 8 pages, little concertina notebook, and each book is stitched together with saddle stitch. So I hope that gives you a good idea of some of the things you can do with saddle stitch. It's a really brilliant, versatile stitch, and yeah, have fun experimenting and playing and making your own notebooks, and do get in touch if you would like to. So I'm Carla Moss. If you want to see any more of my artwork, it's on www.carlamoss.co.uk, and if you want to download or get sent the printable greeting cards, then click on the link below as well and you'll be able to get those. Thank you for watching. Bye.